You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at night and your brain just won't stop? You're not thinking about anything useful, you're just spinning. Replaying conversations, worrying about things that haven't even happened yet, running through every possible way something could go wrong. And the worst part, you know you're doing it. You can see yourself spiraling, but you cannot stop it. That is overthinking. And if that sounds familiar, this video is going to change something fundamental in the way your mind works. Let's be honest about what overthinking is actually costing you. Not in some abstract philosophical way, in real, tangible, day-to-day life. Think about the last time you had to make a decision, even a small one. Maybe it was something as simple as sending a message. And you sat there for 20 minutes rewriting it, second-guessing every word, wondering how it would land, imagining all the ways it could be misunderstood. That is not caution, that is your brain eating itself. And it is exhausting in a way that no amount of sleep seems to fix, because the exhaustion is not physical, it is mental, it is emotional. It is the kind of tired that sits in your chest. Here is something most people never realize. Overthinking is not a thinking problem, it is a feeling problem. And the moment you understand that, everything shifts. Before we go deeper into this, I want you to know that if you are someone who is serious about actually breaking this cycle at a faster, more structured level, we have related programs linked down below in the video description. People who have used them have described the results as a before and after line in their life. Do not wait on this. The people who act today are the ones who actually change. Everyone else just keeps watching videos. Now back to the core of what is happening in your mind. When you overthink, your brain is trying to protect you. That is actually important to understand. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It genuinely believes that if it thinks hard enough it will find certainty. It believes that certainty equals safety. So it keeps going. It keeps analyzing. It keeps looping. Because somewhere in the background there is a fear of getting it wrong, a fear of being judged, a fear of failing, a fear of being hurt again. And until that fear is addressed at the root, no amount of telling yourself to stop overthinking will ever work. That is why you have probably tried to just stop before. And it worked for maybe a few hours, maybe a day. And then something happened, someone said something, a situation arose, and you were right back in the spiral. Because willpower is not the answer to overthinking. Understanding is. Here is the shift. And I want you to stay with me here because this is where everything changes. Most people are living from a place of reaction. Something happens and the mind immediately jumps to what does this mean, what could go wrong, what should I do, what if I get this wrong? Every moment triggers a chain of thoughts that pulls you further and further from the present moment. You are living 3 steps ahead of reality, in a future that does not exist yet, and you are in pain over things that have not even happened. The simple shift is this. Stop asking your mind what could go wrong. Start asking your body what is actually happening right now. That is it. That is the shift. It sounds almost too simple, but here is why it works. Overthinking lives in the mind. It lives in language, in narrative, in story, but your body exists only in the present moment. When you drop your attention into your body, you are physically pulling your awareness out of the thought spiral and anchoring it into something real, something that is actually here. Studies on cognitive behavioral patterns have shown that the average overthinker can spend up to 70% of their mental energy on thoughts that never materialize into reality. 70%, that is not just a statistic. That is your creativity, your focus, your presence, your joy, being consumed by scenarios that exist nowhere except inside your own head. Now imagine what your life looks like when that changes. Imagine waking up in the morning and your first thought is not immediately a list of worries. Imagine having a conversation and actually being present in it, not simultaneously running a background analysis of how you are being perceived. Imagine making a decision and actually trusting it. Imagine finishing your day without feeling mentally depleted from thoughts that served no purpose. That is not a fantasy. That is what happens when you break the overthinking pattern at its root. And it does not take years of therapy or a complete personality overhaul. It takes one consistent shift practiced regularly until it becomes your new default. Here is how to actually do it in real time. The next time you feel the spiral starting, and you will recognize it because there is a kind of tightness, a kind of speeding up inside your head, stop what you are doing, just for 10 seconds. Put your hand on your chest, feel it move, feel the pressure of your hand, feel the temperature, not because it is some magical cure, but because you are forcing your awareness back into the present moment. You are interrupting the loop at its source. And then ask yourself one single question. What is actually true right now, in this moment? Not what might be true. Not what could happen, not what someone might think. What is actually factually true right now? And 9 times out of 10, then the answer is that right now, in this exact moment, you are okay. Right now, nothing catastrophic is happening. Right now, the worst-case scenario your mind was building is not real. That one question has more power than hours of rumination. Because it brings you back to what is real, and what is real is almost always more manageable than what is imagined. Now here is where the deeper work comes in, because this shift alone is powerful, but real transformation happens when you understand the patterns underneath your overthinking. Why does your mind reach for worst-case scenarios specifically? Why do you tend to spiral in certain areas of your life more than others? Why does someone else in the exact same situation stay calm while you feel overwhelmed? Those are not random differences. They are deeply ingrained patterns, and patterns can be changed. People who understand their patterns move faster. They make decisions without the paralysis. They communicate without the second guessing. They sleep without the mental replay. They live in a fundamentally different relationship with their own mind. And the gap between someone who has done this work and someone who has not is not a gap of intelligence or willpower. It is a gap of understanding and application. Here is something that will make you think. The cost of not changing this is not neutral. Every year you spend in the overthinking loop is a year you spent at reduced capacity, reduced clarity, reduced confidence, reduced presence in your own life. Time does not wait for readiness. And the version of you that could have existed 3 years ago if you had made this shift then is not something you can get back. But the version of you that could exist 3 years from now, that is still completely available. But only if something changes today. There are people right now who are exactly where you are, spinning, exhausted, second-guessing everything, who made one decision to understand themselves at a deeper level, and who now live unrecognizable lives compared to where they started. Not because they are special, because they moved. That is what separates people who change from people who stay the same. Not intelligence, not talent, not luck. Movement. One concrete step taken before they felt completely ready. The programs linked in the video description below are there for the people who are ready to stop waiting for the spiral to slow down on its own. Because it will not without the right tools and understanding in place. These are not for people who are just curious. These are for people who are genuinely done living at the mercy of their own mind. If that is you, the link is below. Go there now, not tomorrow, not when things calm down. Because things will not calm down on their own. You have to build the calm, and you can start building it right now.